Hi everyone, it's May, and my book, The Gate, the Girl, and the Dragon, is now out. I am so excited, and I hope you are too. It's my first original middle grade novel in over 9 years. If you liked any of my other books, like Where the Mountain Meets the Moon, I think you'll like this one too. We worked hard to make it as beautiful as possible. The first printing of the book even has spreads. If you'd like the book with the spreads, best to get it now while the first printing is still available. You can get it anywhere books are sold, but participating indie bookstores have a special small print that you can get with it. Please spread the word. And please stay on after our episode. You can hear about one of the real life inspirations of the book. I hope they help you enjoy The Gate, the Girl, and the Dragon even more.
Hi, I'm Alvina Ling,
And I'm Grace Lin.
and we're book friends.
Forever!
We're childhood friends,
Who grew up to be
a children's book editor.
and an author and illustrator. Yay!
Welcome to Book Friends Forever. This is the personal organization episode.
And check out our website, bookfriendsforever.com, and our Instagram handle at bookfriendsforever_podcast. And check out our new YouTube channel, also at Book Friends Forever Podcast, so you can see us. See me drinking my coconut water.
Yes.
Yay!
Did I bring my water? I didn't bring my water.
I'll be like,
We should get a
"Hey,
sponsorship.
coconut water, you should, what is it? Endorse us or something.
Yes.
Like that.
Send us free product.
Mhm.
And also, we should mention that we'll be doing a live podcast recording at the Carl Museum in honor of Grace's exhibit there. And the podcast recording will be on Saturday, June 14th. That's during the opening of the show,
Yes.
right?
Yes. So there's a members opening. So there's a members opening for where there'll be food and all that stuff the night before on the 13th, which
13th.
you are invited to.
I'm planning to attend, yes.
Yay! But the 14th is when it's big open to the public, and that's when we'll be having our recording as well. So I hope people come
Yes.
to the recording.
Yes, it'll be from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you're in Western Massachusetts or driving distance, or if you want to fly out to
Yeah, like
see us.
if you've never seen the Carl before, the Carl Museum before, this is a really good excuse.
Yes, that is true. And you can say hi to us.
Yes.
And also, if anyone has any suggestions for topics,
Yeah, that would be good.
let us know.
We'll have to
Yes,
figure out what we're going to talk
we'll come up
about.
with something. I was thinking, so I did look back and we did talk about our picture book editing, but that was kind of combined with our publishing curriculum episode with Saho Fuji when we talked
Oh, okay.
about, because with picture books, especially if you're the author and illustrator, the editing of the text and the art kind of all come together.
Mhm.
But we could focus more, I think, on the actual text and editing. So that's one idea. So,
Or they have a really great show on end papers going on at the same
yeah,
time, and it's really cool. So maybe we could do something with end papers too. That might be really fun. I don't know what.
right. If we did, yes, actually, so Andrea Spooner, who oversees our picture book list, she runs a picture book breakfast once a
Oh,
month where it's designers and editors who work on picture books come together. And every other meeting, we do a deep dive. And so
yeah.
we've done end papers, we've done cover design, we've done title pages. So we pick a different element of the picture book to
Right.
talk about. So we could all also do that. I do think it's probably most effective though if people watch that on
It's true.
YouTube or
And we
are
haven't
in
really figured
person.
out how to do other. I don't know how we're going to do video when
Right.
we're
Well,
there. So we'll have
we
these
need
it's
a
all things that
tripod.
we'll find out.
Or Alex will have to stand there and record us. Maybe Stephen can do it.
Like the whole hour, just like
Yes. But yes, anyway, so come out for that and it'll be great. So Grace, you're still technically on tour, although you are home today.
Yes.
How have you been?
So I got home yesterday from I was at the Gatorsburg Book Festival on Saturday, got home yesterday, Sunday. I have today. Today's my free day, but then I'm back on the road tomorrow. So, but it's on the road tomorrow is local, so it's all no more flights. So that's really good.
Yay.
Yeah, so the festival was really great. There's so many authors there. I've never been to the Gatorsburg Book Festival before, so it was really nice to see so many people. I was actually kind of surprised I knew so many people. So it was like, oh, I know you too. And so that was really
It
nice.
was also on your birthday.
And it was on my birthday, and I share a birthday with Cornwall,
Oh,
so who was also at the Gatorsburg Book Festival. So happy birthday,
we
Gaia!
both celebrated your birthdays.
Yes. And I got to see Allison Morris, our intrepid reviewer.
Yes.
um, yes, so
How do you feel?
I feel pretty good actually, especially because I got a good night's sleep last night in my own bed. So that
Yay.
was really nice. But all things considered, like I said, I don't think a tour is not easy, and I don't want to downplay that to anybody because if you're going to go on tour, get ready. But
Yes.
I think this tour for me was really really good because I had kind of prepared myself for the worst, and I had like all these kind of like every time I was like, ugh, I was like, no, no, you get to go on tour, you get to go on tour, and I was always like, if you had told yourself, if you're 20 years ago, you would have killed to be here, like it's all these things like kind of had those things to remind me again when things got like really like stressful, and I was like, 20 years ago you'd be like, I'd kill for this kind of thing. So
Mhm.
it was really and yeah, it was. I don't know if we told the listeners, but the Gate, the Girl, and the Dragon actually hit the New York Times bestseller list
Yay.
at number 2, which is the highest I've ever been. And so, like, maybe that's also making me feel good about the tour.
Right.
That's
Like it was worth it.
probably helps a lot. It makes me feel like it was worth it. And so, though I have to admit, I'm kind of surprised because the events were great. Don't get me wrong, and I'm so glad for everybody who came out. I'm really, really grateful. But I mean, they weren't like packed. They were like many of them were just like half full, and other people who came were lovely. It was actually kind of nice because you could have like a more kind of intimate conversation. But I was like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna hit the list, but I did. So I think it must be all the pre-orders and the people who are ordering all over the
Mhm.
country, not just at the places that I did events at. So I really, really appreciate everybody who ordered and is ordering and all those things. And like I said, if 20 years ago someone had told me you're gonna hit the New York Times bestseller list at number 2 for a novel, I would have been like, ah, that's
What?
so funny.
That's
so,
great.
uh, so it's thinking about that puts it all in perspective, and it makes me feel like, you know what, it was worth it, and I'm so grateful to to be able to do this. So
Yay.
that's how I feel. I feel really good about everything, and so thank you, Little Brown, thank you, readers, thank you, everyone. So I'm feeling really good. And you know what? Also, being on tour, you're so busy. I like I said, you do go on social media, but like I have so many things blocked. I have no idea what's going on in the news. Nothing. Like, and
So
it's been
that's kind of
so
nice.
lovely.
Yeah.
Like really, really lovely. Like, I don't know how the world's on fire at all. So that's also contributing to my like good mood. So
Yeah. That's great.
how about
Yes.
you?
I'm doing well. I am here in the office because we're recording this on a Monday, on Monday, May 19th. So you can see it. This is our library.
Hmm.
Woo, lots of books. Um, and I had a really nice weekend. The weather has been really great. So, um, went for a nice walk, went to the botanical garden again, went for a run. Um, I think I've mentioned this in years past, but my friends Lev and Chris, they always host a Eurovision
Oh yeah.
party, and that was on Saturday. So they always make foods that are kind of in the theme. So Switzerland was hosting because the winner of last year hosts the next year. And so there was like a pasta salad that had Swiss cheese in it. And there are other, there was a cocktail that was inspired by Switzerland. And Austria won with a song called Wasted Love. And the singer was his stage name is JJ, and he's like a trained opera singer. I think he's like called a countertenor, maybe. He had a super high voice. I mean, he was
Oh,
really impressive.
okay.
Kind of pop. pop opera.
Mhm.
And I looked him up and he's half Filipino.
Oh,
So I was
oh,
like, oh, an Asian person won Eurovision.
yeah, that's cool. And for
Um,
Austria, it was,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I think his father is Austrian, and I think he was born there and then moved somewhere else and then moved back to Austria. So he is
That's so
Austrian,
cool.
yes. And then other than that, I'm getting ready for vacation next
That's exciting.
week. But Steven's mom fell and broke
Oh
her
no.
elbow, fractured her elbow. She is okay, but her first thought was, I have to be able to go to Turks and Caicos. So as of, I think today she's seeing a specialist, I think she's in a cast, but Stephen found you can buy these coverings for casts.
Oh, in the
Um,
water?
yes, so that she
Nice.
could go into the
How
water. So,
badly was it? Was it like a little, like, is it?
um, there was a name which I can't remember where it's a part of the elbow gets kind of almost like dislocated. I think
Oh,
it is considered a fracture though, so she might need to get surgery.
oh,
Um,
bummer.
but thankfully she's doing okay. But I
Is she
don't
in a lot
know.
of pain?
She is not now.
Okay,
I
that's
think
good.
she was, but then quickly got it under control. I think she's just more mad at herself because she was trying to move boxes and then and I get it. I mean, I feel like I could see my parents doing that where
Yeah,
they
yeah.
feel like they
We feel
can.
like we're strong and like that's because
Yes.
inside our
I know. I've been listening to, I kind of like binge podcasts sometimes. So I've been binging Wiser Than Me, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I'm on the third season. And she always asks her guests, because all the guests are 70 years old or over. And she always asks them how old they are and how old do they feel. And it's just interesting. So someone recently said, I feel like I'm, maybe in my 20s. And someone else said,
well, I
I
mean,
feel
I
like I'm
think
65.
I still feel like I'm like 12, so
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I have to say I was really proud of myself. Um I can't remember. I went traveling before, um, and that's when my arm was
Mm.
just recovering. And I remember I was having such a hard time getting things in and out. Like I was like, oh. And
Yeah.
this time I was like, I could do it. I was like, I'm so proud of myself. Like I could do it. Like so, I know that feeling. Like when you feel strong, you're like yes. So and it's such a blow when you can't. I remember when I was injured, I was like, I can do it.
Yeah. It's hard. But anyway, so let's
But I hope
hope
she can
we
still go and she can
yes,
still
she is still planning. She's gonna go. She's
okay.
definitely gonna go. But I hope she can
I hope it's a good time for
she's
her.
I think it'll be wonderful. So I haven't checked what the weather's gonna be. It's still a week. I guess it's a week and a day away. So
Nice.
we'll see. All right. So there has been a New York Times article going around where the headline is, Can a $700 calendar save your marriage? And the little subheading is, Your spouse can't read your mind, but these products promise to, quote, externalize the primary caregiver's brain.
Hmm.
So the article is about these really expensive, I think mainly something called the Hearth or the Skylight calendar,
Skyline.
which is a huge digital wall calendar. So it updates live and people can send stuff to it. I mean, I think I would say that neither of us are planning to get this calendar, but we thought it might be interesting to talk about how we organize our personal lives and maybe talk about our daily routines and planning.
Yeah. Well, I
Um,
thought it was a really interesting article and I listened to it and I thought it was good. Good idea, like this huge calendar, but I'm like, you're still dependent on people putting things in, like that. I'm like,
yes.
that's the problem with my family is like Alex never puts anything in.
Right.
So like, but
Right. And they talk about how there is still that one person who
person who
will,
has to put everything in. So like,
right, because it's
um,
supposed to take the mental load away, but
yeah,
it maybe doesn't fully do that.
yeah, I don't think it really does, but I think, but that's why I was like, well, it's just kind of a glorified Google Calendar, which is what I use. Um,
Yes.
so
So
okay, let's
how,
start.
so you use a Google.
Yes, I have a Google Calendar, uh, and it's all color coded. So Alex sees, I think he sees all the colors. He sees all the colors. So and I have one that goes to my school visits coordinator, or who's now my assistant, I guess, because I've changed the hashtag. Um, speakers bureau. But so I have the speaker bureau and Amy, who do all my events, and they put that in, and they just see the events thing. Then I have something called domestic affairs, that's in green, and then I have Zoom visits, like yeah. So and then and it's all there. Like I put it all in there. And so Alex always knows where I am or what needs to where I'm going. And then my visits people know where I'm going, and I block out dates that like no visits here, no visits there. So it's not like super like organized, but it seems to work for us. I don't know. What do you do?
Wait, so Alex doesn't put anything in ever, or does Hazel
No,
yet put? So it's all you. Yes.
it's all me.
You know, I think because it's just the two of us and we don't have kids, we haven't needed to use anything really to share. So I pretty much use my Outlook work calendar for everything,
Uh-huh.
including personal things. So, if I have karaoke night or whatever,
Yeah.
that goes into Outlook.
Mhm.
Stephen and I do have a shared Google Calendar, but we don't really use it. I don't want to enter things in twice, but I want everything. I feel like I need everything to be on the same calendar. So if it's on in Google Calendar, it does show up, I think, on your phone. I don't know, but Google is not as I haven't really figured out how to merge the two successfully. So I just put everything on my Outlook. But sometimes I'll see Stephen uses the Google just for his doctor's appointments, basically. So every now and then I'll say like, oh, he has a doctor's appointment today. We
Well,
do have a shared,
I like the Google Calendar because it alerts me like it was like, oh, like 30 minutes you have a Zoom call, 10 minutes, like tomorrow you have a doctor's appointment, like all these things. So like it always gives me a little alert. And I sometimes that has saved my butt so many times. So like I'm like, oh, okay, gotta get home now. Like so
yes. I mean, Outlook, I guess Outlook does that too. And now that I have my watch, it'll
uh-huh.
tell me when my upcoming meetings are. So
Yeah.
that's useful. But I think, when I'm in the office, I have my calendar up in Outlook,
Yeah.
so I always know what's
Yeah.
coming next. Um, and, we do have a shared like grocery list, I guess. I don't know how much Stephen uses that, but
Mhm.
because it's just the two of us, we just communicate
Yeah.
constantly. Um,
It's
I
kind of
do,
fun. In some ways, it's nicer that way because then, like, otherwise, I was listening to the article. In some ways, it made me feel kind of sad. It's because, like, it's almost like they communicate through the calendar. It's like
right.
because they're like, the thing was like, after you go to Zoom meetings, you don't want to come home and talk to your spouse about and talk about all the things you're doing, like you have to do. And I understand that, like, it's like you don't want to have a meeting with like a board meeting with your spouse, but at the same time, I feel like, but you want to talk to them, like it's kind of like,
Yeah,
and sometimes it's nice to talk to them about stuff, life. I mean,
right.
this is life, like all the calendar
Yeah.
is kind of your life,
And
like
usually, on Sunday, I might tell Stephen, like, oh, by the way, I have a busy week. I have these
yeah,
things after work. So he has an idea. I mean, maybe I should start putting things into our calendar because he will often forget. And because so he does almost all of the home
yeah, Zoom with Alex.
work.
Mhm.
That's not what it's called, but housework, I guess.
Yeah.
And cooking. Like for example, yesterday he said, "Oh, I'm going to make, palak paneer or sag paneer for dinner
Mhm.
tomorrow." I said, "Oh, it's our monthly karaoke, which I think we might end up canceling because we don't have quorum. We need 4 people for quorum, and only
Oh,
3 of us can go right now." But I was like, maybe I'll invite Steven to come to make quorum. But so he didn't remember that, and I had to remind him. But that's not a big deal. But he does, and he doesn't have to put any of this on the calendar, but
yeah,
he basically takes care of all the trash stuff. I
yeah,
think a lot of our home household chores I mean, he's kind of ma the main person, but it's also, but not official. Like basically, it's like if you see something, you do it. And
yeah.
because I lived alone for so long, I'm used to doing.
Mhm.
So often what happens is he'll start the laundry and then I'll fold it. Or if I see that something is full or, needs to, the dishwasher needs to be started, I'll do it. And if I see the dishes, I'll empty it, So it hasn't I think because he's pretty good about doing
Mhm.
a lot of it, there hasn't seemed to be uh
Yeah.
imbalance, I guess.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because, Alex takes care of so many things, like so many of the day-to-day stuff with Hazel, picks her up from school, brings her to school, all those things. I mean, we bring her to school together, but like I was thinking when they were talking in that article about the planning, and like I was thinking how like, oh, I've got all of Hazel's summer stuff to plan, and I've got to send all the forms and do all those things. And it is a bit of a mental, but I actually kind of, in a weird way, I kind of like it because it makes me feel like I still have skin in the game of like Hazel's life because he's the primary caretaker. And I think about my
Mhm.
own dad, right? And like how he knew nothing about
Yeah.
what we were doing, nothing. Like he went to work and like, he didn't, if we played violin, maybe he knew, like, so like, okay. And so to me, I'm like, oh, it's in some ways it's kind of like tour. Like I get to arrange things for Hazel, like because that's
Hmm.
kind of part of being a part of her life. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. And there's no resentment because
yeah,
you're partners.
yeah. So I guess that's what it is.
Hmm.
I guess that's what it is. It's I think the calendar is not going to take away the $700 calendar is not going to take any resentment away if there's resentment to begin with. But it might be a good, if there's no resentment, it might be a good way to keep you organized.
Right. I think it also depends on how people's brains work because I think they did talk about how sometimes you do need a reminder of, I mean, for example, like kids, for example, they do have like brush your teeth, or like the bedtime routine.
That's true.
And I think some people find they like to check things off. So,
Well, yeah. Well, it's funny because when I was on tour with my friend Jackie Davies. She was on tour. We had met in Gaithersburg, and she was saying like, she had a day off like a day before. She's like, it was so weird to wake up in the morning and not have an itinerary. She goes, look and see, what am I doing today? She's like, because she was so used to like, okay, do this, do this, do this. Like now there's no itinerary. So
yeah,
I think
yeah.
when you get used to it, it's like it's comforting almost.
Yes, but then it is nice when, like, I had that yesterday where I had nothing planned, which was
Uh,
really nice. And then we were like, let's go to brunch. And we went to
yeah.
brunch and I started a new puzzle and that was
Aw.
great. Yeah. So it's nice to have those unplanned days. Let's see. What else is there tools. I mean, one thing that I do use for my personal, it's just a reminder to like, for example, to take my vitamins. I
Mm.
use a app called DUE,
Oh.
and I'll put so I have some daily reminders and sometimes the reminders are I don't know. For example, listening to Wiser Than Me, who was it? There was someone who shared, and it was a Thich Nhat Hanh meditation, and it was breathing in, I calm myself, breathing out, I smile.
Oh,
So
that's
I just
sweet.
added that as a daily reminder for like 9:30 every day, and it just like, okay, it's just so, but I also put some things that need regular maintenance, but I don't like put it on my calendar. So, for example, on my coffee maker, you're supposed to clean it I think it's every 2 months or every 3 months. So I
Oh,
just put that on my due, and then it just reminds you. So, for example, like
huh.
to change your HVAC filter, which is something I
Oh.
never knew you're supposed to do. I have a
Thank
reminder.
goodness Alex does that. But yeah.
Yeah, so reminders like that,
Mhm.
I put on. So sometimes it's a little, you know, it could be like a reminder to
Yeah.
meditate, but
Yeah. I'm trying to think, because we still have a paper calendar on the wall, for some things, but it's the problem is like who we forget to update the paper calendar, but we still use that. And I'm trying to think like I don't have a really good system for like when I get bills and things like that. So my system is I
mm,
just pin it onto my board. And so like I know as soon as I put it like in a shelf or something, I'll forget it. So it's like
yeah,
well, just so every time I go to my studio, I see the bill pinned until there's so many bills. I'm like, I gotta pay those. And then
right.
I just do it.
Yeah,
But
so you could have a reminder once a month, pay bills.
I could, but
Yeah, if you
but the
wanted.
truth is I probably
wouldn't
I
do it.
probably would. I'd be like, oh yeah, I gotta do that, and then I
Yeah.
wouldn't do it.
I mean, for me, what I'll do is, for work, but also other things, if I really need to, I will just carve out like half an hour on my Outlook calendar to actually
Mm,
do that task.
yeah.
So usually it's a work task. So for example, Fridays we have no meetings, but there were three picture books that I've been meaning to edit
Mhm,
for a while. So I
mhm.
carved out an hour and a half for each one to edit. I only did two of the three, but I did do two, so I felt good.
Yeah,
Any other?
I think there was I listened to the Gretchen Rubin podcast and she was saying how one of the rules is like the 1 minute rule or something like that. If it's something that you can get done in a minute, do it right away.
Mhm.
So, and I always mean to like, if you see something on the floor, pick it up, like, so I have to admit, I thought that was really great, but sometimes I don't do that.
Yeah, a lot of it is like habits, has
Yeah,
to
it's just,
become a habit.
mhm.
Like, I don't know, Sunday, I didn't really feel like going for a run, but the weather was so nice, and
Mm,
I was doing my morning pages,
mhm.
and I started writing about how the weather is so nice, and I had the sliding door open, and the breeze was coming in, so like I think I wrote, I guess I'll go for a run, and then before I knew it, I was on my run, and even though
Oh.
I was thinking I don't really feel like doing this right now, but I'm already here, so I guess I mean, it's
That's
just
just like
something
a
to say.
habit of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something to say about habits being
Hmm.
effective. It's
Well,
like
I do
brushing
have to
your teeth.
say it was really interesting being on tour um because I did not exercise at all.
Mm,
I thought because I've made it such a habit at home, like I'd feel it or something like that. But honestly, exercise, it didn't even cross my mind. Like,
yeah,
except once,
you're
maybe
so busy.
right before going to bed, I'd be like, oh, I haven't exercised, or I should do some exercise, but I'd be like, oh well. Like, so it was so interesting how that the habit just like wiped
Yeah,
away.
because it's not a habit when you're on tour, I
Yeah, I
guess.
think it's not a habit. Well, I think the habits are like it's your familiar triggers, right? So like I
Hmm.
got home and then this morning I went to the my class and it was like, oh, and it was like it was easy to get back into the routine. But I think when
Yeah,
you're not in the routine, it's like, nah.
yeah. And you're just so busy, and you're also
Yeah.
very tired,
Yes,
probably.
very tired. But that's why they say like if you want to quit smoking or something like that, it's way easier to do that like far away. Oh, who wrote that book? They moved all the way to Japan to quit smoking.
Oh, I don't know.
He's a really famous author, who's super funny.
Murakami? No,
No,
he's
super
from
funny.
Japan.
Uh,
So
American.
David Sedaris?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay. Super funny. Yes.
Super funny. Like he just moved to Japan so he quit smoking,
Yeah, I guess change the
and I think it
scenery.
worked.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess people can share with us their personal organizational tools. Because I think I heard about the app due from maybe it was Chris Barton, or maybe it
Oh,
was Aaron Murphy, or maybe it
mhm.
was both. I feel like it was on Twitter, and then
Oh,
I was like, I'll try it, and I downloaded it, and now I use it. I still use it. So
hooray!
useful.
Fortune cookies.
All right. So for our fortune cookie segment, we thought we just, Grace has been on the tour, but we just thought we'd give, I guess, book recommendations or what we've been reading. Grace, I think you had a book rec.
So, this is while I was in Denver, Colorado. A bunch of authors came out to my event, and one of the authors was Stan Yan. He listens to our podcast, so hey, Stan.
Oh yeah, and he sent us a message on our Instagram that I have to relook at. I don't go, sorry, Stan, I don't actually look. I'm the one who has control of the Instagram, and I don't really look at it that much. So I'll go back and find
We
the
probably shouldn't
message.
admit that.
Well, we talk about how we're trying to stay off social media, so
But anyway, while I was there, he gave me an advanced reading copy of his book, The Many Misfortunes of Eugenia Wang, or Wang, but spelled Wang. Um, and it's so good. He signed. Okay, here's confession. I read it in the airplane and then I lost it.
oh no.
But honestly, it was kind of good that I lost it because my bag was like so full. Like I
Yeah.
think I lost it because like I just couldn't fit any more things in it, and like and I put it down somewhere. So I think it's in an airport somewhere. So hopefully somebody else has found it and is reading it. Okay, but when I read it, it was really really great. It's about Eugenia Wang, whose mother is very, very superstitious, and her birthday is Eugenia Wang's birthday is on April 4th. And if anybody knows anything about Chinese culture, they know the number four is bad luck. So, so Eugenia's mother is completely will not let her celebrate her birthday because it's double death.
Oh
And
no.
so, and Eugenia starts making these comics, these haunted comics. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's really, really fun and it's really, really great. So she's making these haunted comics that seem to be coming true, and the haunted comics are kind of scary, but through them she is able to change her misfortune. Let's put it that way. Um,
Yay.
so I hope people go and look it up. I'm kind of trying to see when it comes out. Oh, it doesn't come out until September. So go
Mhm.
pre-order it, people. Pre-orders are really important.
Yes.
So that's the book I'll recommend.
Um, so I just finished yesterday while doing my puzzle, the book called Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune, which is the sequel to The
Oh,
House on the
um,
Cerulean Sea, which I
mhm.
talked about maybe last year when I read it or earlier this year. I don't even know. I think it was last summer I read it. Oh no, did I read it in Bermuda? I think I read it when we were in Bermuda because I remember the Cerulean Sea
Uh-huh,
was very appropriate.
uh-huh.
So this is I think technically adult fantasy novel, but it could definitely have been a maybe YA or middle grade, except that the main character is a teen. I mean, is an adult.
Uh-huh.
But he is so the first one is from the point of view of a social worker who goes to this home for magical children,
Mhm.
a foster home orphanage. And the second book is from the point of view of I guess, the quote, master of the orphanage, who is in the process of adopting the children. Um, and, it's about resistance. It's because they live in a society that is bigoted against magical creatures,
Mhm.
and they have to register, and they're forced, and they don't have the same rights as everybody. And but it's just a very moving book. So I definitely would recommend it. I recommend both the series. And what's interesting is because this book came out, I think, it came out last year. And I was listening to the audiobook, and at the end, he has acknowledgments and an author's note. And he just said that he is determined to be the anti-J.K. Rowling in a
Oh,
way
interesting.
because of her stance on trans people.
Oh,
And
okay.
this book is very, it's about equality and equity and diversity and inclusion and all the good things that they should be
Uh-huh.
good things. And so yes, it's beautiful. So I recommend it.
Yay.
Yeah.
That's
But
great.
it's interesting that people's motivations though these days, I don't
No.
know. Um, all right. So now we'll end as we always do with what we're grateful for. I can start this week, although I feel like you already did your grateful,
That's
but my
true.
grateful is for the fact that, yeah, the the Gate, the Girl, and the Dragon hit the New York Times bestseller list.
Yay!
And I guess and everyone's hard work, most of all
Yeah, and
yours,
everybody
and
works
your
so hard.
your
So I feel like,
beautiful writing.
and the book,
But
everybody says how beautiful the book is, which I'm so grateful for. So,
yeah, everything about it is beautiful. And including the sales is beautiful.
we love the beautiful sales.
Yes. But we,
You know,
little oh, go
oh,
on.
oh, I was gonna say, you know what else is really beautiful that I think I haven't said too much about is the audio book.
Hmm.
I think Emily did a beautiful, or I think she goes by Mesme, did such a beautiful job with it. Like her voice just kind of like lulls you into the
Aw,
story. It's like so like it sounds so like intimate. So I really love like the audiobook. It's really I think the audiobook's really beautiful too.
I will
So
have to check that. I heard that little snippet, I think that you had
yeah.
posted. Yes, it's you know what? I feel like I should listen to the audiobooks of the books that I edit more because
Because
I
it's
mean I
interesting
don't,
to
but
hear.
Mhm.
It's so interesting to hear someone's interpretation because I've done readings of my book and then to hear hers, I was like, oh, hers is better. Like I should have her read these books.
She's a professional. Um, but I was going to say that Little Brown Books for Young Readers had a nice showing on the New York Times bestseller list this week. So your book was number two, J versus K by Kwame Alexander and Jerry Craft was number four on the middle grade list.
And yeah.
And then we had a YA book, Audrey and Bash Are Just Friends by Tia
Oh,
Williams, which was
that's
number
awesome.
10 on the YA list. And then The Wild Robot is still going strong on
Of
the
course.
series list. It's not at number three.
Yes, of
Um,
course.
so it's
Yay!
great. Yay, we had a best-selling week.
Hooray!
How about you, Grace?
Um,
What are you grateful for?
So yes, I'm super grateful for all the readers and everybody who's come out to support the book. I'm really grateful for everybody's hard work to make the book the way it is. And I'm just really grateful. Like I said, I kind of feel like I said what my gratefuls as in the beginning. Like I don't want to downplay anyone's hard work though, and I don't want to downplay like that it was like it was a lot of work to get to where this book landed, and I guess I also want to use that as kind of encouragement because I feel like we hear so much about how the author can't move the needle, right? And I think that is true to a certain point, but I do think the author does have some power,
Mhm.
to do some stuff. And I feel like if anything, I feel like this book kind of proved that to myself, and I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. You move the needle for sure. All right, and that was the personal organization episode. Thank you for joining us, and thanks to Alex at Paceyworks Studio for editing this podcast. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and tell a friend about it.
And tag us on social media using the hashtag BookFriendsForever, or send us a message via Instagram at BookFriendsForever_podcast or via our website, BookFriendsForever.com. And please join our Patreon. The link is in the show notes.
I'm Alvina Ling. You can find me at Planet Alvina on TikTok and at Alvina Ling on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Threads.
And I'm Grace Lin, and you can find me at Pacey Lin on Instagram and Threads, and author Grace Lin on Facebook and Blue Sky.
Have a great week.
Remember my own.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Sorry. Have a great week.
And don't forget to read. Bye!
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the After Episode Extra. Here I share quick culture, one of the real-life inspirations behind my middle grade novel, The Gate, the Girl, and the Dragon. Enjoy! If you are ever in China, make sure you look up, because if you do, you might see a parade of small animal sculptures on the roof. Why are they there? Well, you'll see them on important older Chinese buildings that have tiled swooping roofs. Because the eaves were so inclined, the tiles had a tendency to slide. To stop that from happening, builders had to nail the tiles to the crossbeams. To hide the nails, as well as to protect them from the rain, builders placed these sculptures over the nail caps. And the more sculptures the building has, the more important the building is. Most buildings have 3, 5, 7, or 9 animals on the roof, with the exception of the Hall of Supreme Harmony, which has 10. That building was considered the highest-ranking building in ancient China. Now, each one of these sculptures also have a symbolic purpose or a story behind them. For example, the Chuwen, or the dragonfish, is there to call rain in case of fire, and the Hongshi is the reincarnation of the god of thunder, so he can ward off lightning. But I have to say, my favorite is the fellow in the front, Shinren Chiji, the immortal riding the rooster. They say he was a king about to be killed by his enemy when a huge rooster landed before him and carried him to safety. He has come to symbolize good luck, and I just enjoy that story so much that I made him a character in my book, The Gate, the Girl, and the Dragon. I hope you enjoy seeing what he does in the book.